Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2, Episode 19, The Dirty Half Dozen. Now, unfortunately, I saw this episode after having seen the Avengers. I saw it today, and I actually saw it last night too. I went with two different people. But I do wish I got to see this episode before I went to see the Avengers, because, of course, and I wasn't even thinking of this, like, that's what they do when the movies come out. They tie into them in some way. They're gonna either, like in this episode, they led up to it, but the last time we had it was with the Winter Soldier, and that was kind of like at the same time things were happening. And I really enjoyed that. I thought it was really cool. And plus, that was like a huge change for the series and the entire cinematic universe because S.H.I.E.L.D. was infiltrated by Hydra, and all these different things changed at the same time. So I still enjoy that more as far as the tie-ins go because it was just really cool. Like all this craziness happened, and some stuff they mentioned, like, oh, like Nick Fury died, and they mentioned that, in the episodes and stuff. But if you saw the movie, you find out that he didn't actually die, and it was kind of cool how they played around with that. And in this one, I still enjoyed it. It was cool. We got to see Raina even have a vision of it where she talks about Metal Men, who was Ultron, of course, destroying cities and things like that. And she saw Loki's scepter, which was a big part of the film. And it was just really cool. And we find out that the Data Protocol was actually this entire mission to locate Loki's scepter and figure out what is it that we need to find and where are we going to find it. And then that leads straight into the Avengers, and it makes perfect sense. It's like Coulson was the one that found out the info, and then that leads into, how the Avengers know where to go. And it was really cool. And Dr. List, who was in this episode, is also in the Avengers film, so that was kind of cool. And I knew when I saw the movie, I was like, oh, there's going to be a tie-in with him in, like, the most recent episode. I was like, crap. It made me think when I was watching it, like, I wish I saw the last episode just to see, exactly how we got here, because I knew it was going to be explained, and it definitely was. But it was really cool. Like, even aside from the tie-in, this was definitely a fun episode. We got to see some really interesting moments from some of the characters. We got, the old team back together. Ward, just, I don't know what to think of him. Like, he's obviously a bad guy. Like, he did some really horrible things, and I don't really like him. And then at the same time, when we see him interact with the team and everything, like, it's all of them together. Like, he makes the joke, like, oh, hey, it's great, we got the whole team together. He's, like, genuinely okay, as if he's a psychopath almost. Like, he did these horrible things, and he says he's really hurt. But at the same time, as hurt as he is and as much as he realizes what he did, he's just like, hey, we can be buddies, and this will be great, and stuff like that. And it's like he just doesn't realize that nothing's going to change between him and anyone on the team. Like, they'll work with him because they need to. But he's still the same person who, killed a bunch of people and betrayed the team and helped Hydra and then, killed his brother and his mother and father. So he's not exactly going to be in the good graces of the team in any way, shape, or form ever. So it's just crazy watching his character where he's totally fine. He's just like, hey, we can just be buddies and stuff. And then when everyone looks at him weird, he's like, all right, I know I screwed up. But it seems like he doesn't realize it enough because he still makes the effort to try to be friendly and stuff when he's like shot and killed a bunch of people and tried to kill some of the people that, were on the team. So it's kind of crazy watching just him interact with everyone in this episode, and especially when him and Gemma interact and she's trying to kill him. And this was a great episode for her. It was like two little moments, like when she was talking to Fitz and when she actually ended up killing Bakshi in this one. There were just like some great moments for her character because we knew she changed in this season. Like, she's very hardcore this season compared to season 1 where she was just, the nice scientist. And now it's like we have to face these threats. And like when they first found out about the Inhumans and stuff, she's like, we have to basically kill these people because they're dangerous and stuff like that. She's like, we have to kill them off. There is no containment anymore. Gemma's just like, we have to get rid of threats and save ourselves and just kill whatever's an issue. And it was just interesting to see her in this episode where she was going to do that. And of course, Bakshi ends up getting killed off himself. And that was pretty interesting, I thought. I was surprised to see him get killed off. I thought they'd kind of have more use for him later on. But I guess, he kind of did what he needed to do. We got to actually see that Ward and Kara really did have full control over him. Like, they did exactly what Hydra did to the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, and they made it work. They actually made it work, and he was, totally under their control. It seemed like, in the last episode, he wasn't, considering he had Deathlok and Lincoln captured. I was like, oh, well, he was totally faking, and he was smart enough to get out of it, but he wasn't. That was just what he felt would get him in the good graces, and that's what he did to kind of keep up appearances until Ward came back, and he was kind of his little lapdog until he died. But it was a great little moment, and Ward totally had the chance. He could have easily killed her, but and that was one of those things that makes him weird to watch, because it's like he did all this crap, and then that's one of the moments where she tried to kill him, and he totally just let it go. Like, he had a gun on her and everything, and he could have easily done it, and he was just like, you changed, and then he takes off, and he just leaves from that, and it doesn't make him good. It's just that he's, he mentions a lot in this episode, he's trying to make amends, so it's just one of those crazy moments, and for her, I don't know, like, it was probably the ultimate. Like, she'd been changing over this season, especially after the Inhuman stuff. She'd been changing, and it was like, alright, the Inhuman stuff, like, we have to kill and not capture. Like, there's no more capture and contain for her anymore. It's just kill, because especially with what happened with Trip and everything, it's like, we have to just get rid of these threats instead of trying to contain them and understand them. And this was the ultimate form of that, and it was with the human. It was just someone who had hurt her and the people she cared about, and she wanted to hurt him permanently and get rid of him forever. So I loved seeing that, and I don't know if she'll continue down that path. I feel like she will, because I don't think this one moment's going to totally flip her back to normal. I think she's still going to have these issues with, like, we need to get rid of the threats that we face rather than capture the threats and try to understand them or turn them to our side, or just, keep them in prison for as long as we can. We should just get rid of them. And that's a pretty hard stance to take. So I don't know how it's going to play out throughout the rest of the season and possibly the rest of the series if she continues on this change, especially with the Inhumans really coming in, and especially with what they're showing in this next episode, with them being such a huge focus and them seemingly having a fight and finding out where the Inhumans are. Who knows how that's going to affect Gemma and what she thinks about, the Inhumans in general, superpowered people, and them needing to be killed off rather than contained like she used to believe. So I'm excited to see where they take her character, because we don't get a ton of it, but when it happens, it's definitely fun to watch her change so much from who she used to be in season 1. And even in the beginning of this season, it was really like after the mid-season finale, that's when stuff started to drastically change, because she lost Trip, and they never really got the chance to be together and stuff, but it was obviously there. It was easy to see. So that type of stuff changed her, and the Inhumans came in, and now bigger, badder threats that are a lot more common than just here's a supervillain here or there. It's like we're facing the supervillains, not just the Avengers. So I'm loving where they're taking her character, just step by step every couple episodes. It's like, here's a little change for Gemma, and it's always really awesome. So I love that scene. Getting the team all together in general, I thought was pretty cool. Raina in this episode was very exciting because she's coming into her power, which makes her incredibly dangerous. And Jiang and Cal even had to talk about it. He's like, you have to watch her. And he's not kidding. Like, she was having all these issues and stuff, but now that she knows her powers are actually powers and she's not just having nightmares, she's coming into she's in a position, a very, very unique position, where she's gone beyond like the physical stuff with how she physically changed, which I want to mention this before I forget. They did the best Sonic reference I've like ever seen in a TV show when Sky was making fun of her, and God, Gordon mentioned, was like, oh, we believe her ability is to see visions of the future, and she was like, oh, I thought her ability was to spin around really fast and collect gold rings. I love that. That was just an amazing dish slash reference all at once. I was like, that's just the best thing ever. It was so funny to me. Like, I didn't laugh, but it was just like incredibly smart and witty and just a little messed up that she did that. But it's like, it's also Raina, and they're not friends, so it just made sense that she would kind of hit her like that. And I just love the way they did that reference. But with Raina having come into her abilities, she's getting a bit back to who she used to be, where she's manipulative, as Kyle said, which I thought was really funny because as soon as Jiang said, like, what's she like, the first word that came to my mind was manipulative, and that's the first thing he said because that is her character, 100%. Like after that, she can fight and defend herself a little bit here and there, but first and foremost, she will trick you and take over and do whatever she can to be on top. Even if she's working with you, she'll probably try to undermine you and, dig around you until you crumble, and then it's like, oh, look at me on top. So I love that they're getting back into Raina being who she was in season one, and now she's adapted to her powers, and it's like, I have this amazing ability where I can see the future, and it's, blurry here and there, just random visions, but it's like I can see the future, and it's like, who put you in charge? So there's a ton of stuff, and she's gonna, of course, cause a lot of issues, especially in this episode when with Cal coming back and he's yelling and stuff like, oh, you didn't expect me to come back, and then he kind of just blurts out loud, you tried to keep me from our daughter. And then all the looks start coming in, and it's like a lot of things are gonna unfortunately start changing. And they have like Gordon can't really teleport people too much anymore because he was being tracked. I don't know what they're gonna end up doing with Lincoln, like him being with S.H.I.E.L.D. at this point and having to be rescued and stuff like that. And they didn't want to save him, or she didn't, and then some other people might find out about that, and they'll decide, you can't make all the rules, and all this crazy political turmoil that they're going to be dealing with, I'm pretty sure is going to be coming up. If they have the time, because if they're going to like a crazy all-out war between the Inhumans and S.H.I.E.L.D., they won't be able to deal with that stuff until, season 3. But I'm excited for it. I can't wait to see Raina just cause a bunch of issues. If she ends up getting more control over her power, that would be pretty cool too. It would be incredibly dangerous. Like they couldn't make her too powerful where she's like, I want to see the future, and she sees everything that's going to happen, obviously. But if she gets a little bit more control over where maybe she sees the visions and she doesn't have moments like at the end of this one when she was kind of having the visions of what's going to happen in the Avengers, and she was kind of out of it for a little bit, like her eyes are rolling back in the back of her head, maybe at some point it's just like she'll have the visions and they'll just be like a thought, like it's just like thinking or something, and she'll see everything, but she can still move around and do whatever she's doing, and people wouldn't even know. And she's like, all right, well, I know this is going to happen now, but no one even knows when I have a vision or not. So that might not happen because it would probably make her a bit too powerful even at that level. But she's coming into it. She knows what she has. She knows. She may not know that she's the only one just yet, but I'm sure she'll find that out or talk to people or something like that. She's already talking to people in this episode. She's not worried about the way she looks or any of that stuff anymore. So I can't wait to see where they take like this new version of Raina, because she's manipulative and she can see the future, bits and pieces, but at some point she's going to see something that's going to give her that one up, and I can't wait to see that happen, because I don't know where she'll take things, but it probably won't be good for everybody. So I'm excited for that. Cal in this episode was definitely awesome because he allowed for some crazy stuff to happen, and he's actually getting to stay in Afterlife, so that's actually kind of cool. And I don't know how all that stuff's going to play out with the rules, and kind of how Raina wants to take over for Jiang, but at the same time she knows Cal, so he's like kind of in the middle, like, this is my wife and you're like my own business partner, but he'd pick his wife over her, which could once again cause a bit of an issue, and him maybe or maybe not ripping some people apart. So once again, something we'll have to wait to see. He may or may not go crazy in the next episode with S.H.I.E.L.D. attacking Afterlife. So something else we'll have to wait for. But I definitely loved this episode. It was a great lead-in into the Avengers. Even having seen the Avengers, it wasn't even about that at all. It was just a really good episode. Coulson kind of, gaining the trust of Gonzalez, giving him the box and stuff, and mentioning, like, I'm really important. Like, I know you kind of think I'm just a bad guy and this and that, but I'm doing this for a good reason. I'm doing it for Fury, who, spoiler alert, he's actually alive, which I thought was really funny. And he just kind of surprised him with that. And of course, right after he gets the call from Maria Hill, like, oh man, look how important I am. I'll be back. And he walks off. So I definitely love that. I think because of what's going to happen in the Avengers and with um, everything that they're going to kind of talk about from the Avengers, I think Coulson will be able to kind of get in the good graces of everyone else now. Like, they won't have any of their suspicions anymore because they'll realize, oh, Theta Protocol, which was this huge secret, was a secret that he didn't create. It was still something that Nick Fury had, and it was because he was looking for this really important thing to help basically save the Earth. Like, he was doing it to get info for the Avengers and allow them to go off and do what they do, like save the planet. So I love this episode. I'm excited for the next one for sure. Like, not just the Inhumans fighting against S.H.I.E.L.D. and Sky being trapped in the middle of that, but I can't wait to see how they implement some of the stuff from the Avengers into the really like the last two episodes this season. The finale is going to be 2 hours long, so you could say like last three. But it was a great episode. Of course, I want to know what you guys thought about it, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And if you've seen the Avengers or if you haven't seen the Avengers, I definitely want to know what you guys think about this as a tie-in episode. Do you like it as a tie-in? Do you think it was kind of cool how one of the, like, really the big secret, like what is Theta Protocol, led into, we find out that it's like this big mission for the Avengers. Was that cool to you guys? Was it kind of dumb or shoehorned in, you felt? I want to know what you guys thought about it. I know this was a long review, but yeah, it's like 60 minutes. I guess that's normal for me. I do long reviews. But I just kind of wanted to do that because I don't want to obviously spoil anything for the Avengers, but having seen it, I do know exactly how well this ties in, and it's kind of cool how it ties in. Even Dr. List, who's really been in the series a lot, and then he's transitions into the film as well and stuff like that. So I liked it, but like I said, I want to know what you guys think about this. I think it's I think it's our second, maybe third sort of crossover episode. I guess it's this. Yeah, I guess it's the second one. I think Captain America was the very first one that they crossed over with. They just had like Nick Fury was in like the second or third episode of the series. But yeah, this is like our second crossover. Not as epic, but it can't be as epic as like, holy crap, S.H.I.E.L.D. is actually half Hydra and stuff like that. So it's really hard to beat the Winter Soldier crossover because that was like such a drastic change for all of the cinematic universe. So it's hard for it to be better than that one just because that was like, surprise, everybody's evil. So I don't blame him for that, but I still love it. And like I said, I want to know what you guys thought about it. So please comment below, let me know. And thanks for watching.